Beginning. The outpost was quiet, too quiet for the edge of a war zone. Lieutenant Aaron Hale leaned on the rail outside his barracks, the cold metal pressing against his palms as the twin suns of the Varellan system sank behind the mountains. The silence wasn't peace. It was the uneasy calm between conflicts. Humanity had been stationed on Varela Prime for nearly a decade, coexisting, barely, with the native inhabitants known as the Ryn'ari. To call them alien was an understatement. The Ryn'ari were tall, bioluminescent beings whose skin shimmered like starlight, and whose voices carried the weight of 1,000 harmonics. They were neither aggressive nor submissive, just inscrutable. And yet, for all their mystery, one of them had begun appearing near the human compound. Her name, at least the name the translators gave, was Serai. She wasn't like the others. She spoke to humans. She asked questions. She lingered longer than she should. And for some reason she spoke often to Aaron. He didn't know why. Maybe because he treated her like a person. Not a study subject or an alien to be feared. That evening, as the wind whispered through the metal outpost, Aaron saw her silhouette on the ridge, glowing faintly in the dying light. She descended silently, each step deliberate, until she stood in front of him. Her eyes, luminous and liquid silver, met his. "You are alone again," she said in that voice that was neither spoken nor heard, but felt. "Humans dislike silence. Why do you choose it?" Aaron smiled faintly. "Because sometimes silence is safer than words." Serai tilted her head, her glowing markings pulsing faintly. "Safety is not the same as peace." He wanted to ask what she meant, but she turned, gazing toward the mountains where the Ryn'ari cities lay hidden. The wind picked up again, carrying the faint hum of their ancient energy towers. And then, impulsively, Aaron reached into his pocket. He had been carrying a small trinket, a wooden carving he'd made during downtime. It was shaped like a bird, rough, imperfect, but unmistakably human. He held it out to her. "Here. It's a gift." Serai's expression froze. The glow of her markings dimmed. For a long moment she didn't move. Her silver eyes flickered from the carving to his face. "A gift," she repeated, tasting the word as though it was dangerous. Aaron nodded. "Yeah, it's what humans do. To show kindness." She took the object gingerly, her long fingers trembling slightly as she turned it over. The faint bioluminescence in her veins brightened, pulsing faster. "Kindness," she murmured. "This is forbidden." Aaron blinked. "Forbidden? Why?" "Because in our culture to accept a gift is to accept a bond." The night seemed to hold its breath. 4 days afterward, Aaron couldn't stop thinking about what she'd said. A bond. What did that mean among the Ryn'ari? Serai didn't return to the compound for nearly a week. When she did, her energy shimmered differently, brighter yet calmer. She approached him again, and though her face carried the same serene expression, there was a quiet intensity beneath it. "You did not understand what you gave me," she said, holding the carved bird carefully. "In your world this means gratitude. In mine it means claiming fate." Aaron frowned. "Claiming fate. Among my kind," she continued, "we share energy, thoughts, even dreams. But only once in a lifetime do we form a true bond, a link of spirit. When one gives, the other accepts. There is no undoing it." Aaron chuckled awkwardly. "You're kidding, right?" But her eyes didn't waver. "No, Aaron Hale. The bond is real. You and I are now connected." He swallowed hard. "Connected how?" She stepped closer. The air shimmered between them like heat distortion. "I can feel your thoughts. Impulse. Your sadness when you look toward the stars. Aaron stepped back, but his chest tightened, not in fear but in awe. That's impossible. It is already happening, she said softly. You gave me something that carried your essence. It was enough. That night, Aaron couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he felt her. Not as a voice, but as a presence, like warmth at the edge of his mind. When he thought of home, she felt it. When he remembered loss, she felt that too. And in return, images flowed from her mind into his. Vast oceans of violet light. Cities suspended in crystal towers. And a throne room made of living stone, where the Ryn'ari leader spoke through song rather than speech. It was overwhelming and beautiful. The next morning, Commander Lee noticed Aaron's distraction. You've been off lately, Lieutenant. Something on your mind? Aaron hesitated. How could he explain that an alien woman might now be sharing his consciousness? He just shook his head. Just adjusting to the silence. But there was no silence anymore. Not in his mind. Serai appeared again that night. Her glow was dimmer this time, like candlelight. She looked troubled. They know, she said simply. Aaron stiffened. Who knows? My kind. The council. They felt the bond. They call it contamination. Contamination, he repeated bitterly. To bond with a human is considered a corruption of purity, she said, her voice trembling. They will come for me. And for you. Aaron's throat tightened. Then why don't you break it? It cannot be broken. Only severed through death. The words hit like a physical blow. He stepped forward. Then we'll run. I'd find another outpost. But she shook her head. You don't understand, Aaron. The Ryn'ari don't chase. They erase. Her glow brightened suddenly, flickering erratically. They're already coming. Climax. Sirens erupted through the human base. Lee's voice barked through the intercom. All units, unidentified energy surge inbound. Prepare defenses. Aaron sprinted outside, but the sky was already alive with shimmering streaks of light, Ryn'ari ships descending like falling stars. The humans raised their plasma cannons, but the Ryn'ari vessels didn't fire. They simply hovered, casting down luminous beams that crackled through the air. And then she appeared, Serai, standing between the two armies, her body glowing brighter than ever. Aaron shouted her name, trying to reach her, but an invisible force stopped him mid-step. The Ryn'ari soldiers surrounded her in perfect symmetry, their armor gleaming like liquid crystal. One of them spoke in a voice that resonated through the air like thunder. Serai of the seventh line, you have bonded with the lesser species. You have dishonored your kind. Serai raised her chin. You call them lesser, but their hearts are vast. They feel beyond logic. That is why you fear them. The leader's markings flared. You will be unmade. Aaron pushed forward, ignoring the pain as the barrier seared his skin. Stop. If anyone's to blame, it's me. I didn't know what I was doing. Serai turned, her eyes wide. Aaron, no. He met her gaze. You said we're bonded, right? Then we face this together. The alien soldiers raised their hands, and the air filled with a rising hum, pure energy building to a lethal crescendo. But before the beam struck, Serai did something Aaron could never have expected. She reached out, both physically and psychically, and poured every ounce of her luminous energy into him. A blinding surge of light enveloped them both. Aaron screamed as images cascaded through his mind. Her memories, her fears, her love for a universe he had never seen. The ground trembled, the sky split open, and when the light faded, Serai was gone. All that remained was the faint glow now pulsing beneath Aaron's skin.